go. They will not make those changes. We don't care who you are. We don't care if you're the CEO. And as much as you talk about making things up to date, technologically better, socially better, restaurant better, bring in the new even after the CEO looks vibrant, looks great, talks with a lot of ingenuity, and it's not going to happen. Those restaurants at Cracker Barrel, with the sign, which I didn't pay no attention to when I ate a few weeks ago, I don't think the sign was changed. But I saw maybe the menu might have changed a little bit, I'm not sure. And everything looked the same in Cracker Barrel. Everything was in its place. All the gifts, all the travel gifts if you're on the road, all the whatnot you want, hang up in your house, put in your special place on your counter, all kinds of gifts. The seating looked basically the same. Of course, I'm talking about not the places that have really changed, and I'm thinking that it's the Cracker Barrels back east. So, even though they spend millions of dollars putting things in place, wanting to change to the new way, it's not happening because the people have spoken. They have spoken so loud that Cracker Barrel is going to bring everything back to where it's supposed to be. However, I read last time that they had another affiliate or company that they owned, the Maple Street Biscuit Company. And so it popped up again, and so I decided to check it out. Who is this Maple Street Biscuit Company? Cracker Barrel owns another franchise? Evidently they did. And now I did my homework and looked it up and found out that it's not here on the West Coast at all. That's for sure. It's nowhere here on the West Coast. But it does sound very southern, southeast, easterly type place. Almost like Cracker Barrel, but maybe a little bit more country than Cracker Barrel. I did see some pictures. They do look more modern, of course, because Cracker Barrel is supposed to be older. But Cracker Barrel owns Maple Street Biscuit Company. But they didn't own them at first. I'm talking about Cracker Barrel owning another franchise that I read about in passing a few weeks ago, and now I see more about what Cracker Barrel's about, what the changes going on, and I found out that they actually do own another franchise called Maple Street Biscuit Company. And it does sound kind of country, Maple Street, you know. Maple is supposed to be more thicker than syrup. Okay, maple is the original syrup, I believe. That's how they get their sugar from that. That's how they make all this other type stuff. So Maple Street Biscuit Company. Actually, I even got the names. They were actually founded in 2012. That's right. The company was formed in 2012 in Jacksonville, Florida. So no wonder I never heard of them back east. But they go as far west as Texas. Texas always got one or two of somebody from back east. And I believe they got a place in Ohio, but most of the places are back east. I didn't want to write down all the states that they were in. but they were formed in 2012. The thing about it is, they have 28 company owned franchises. 28. They have 28 company owned franchises of Maple Street Biscuit Company. I meant to say it over and over again. Maple Street Biscuit Company. It makes me want to go there for breakfast. Yes, it does. But they don't have one here. So I don't have no comparable. No comparable anyway on the West Coast. And I'm certainly not going to fly to Texas. That's the closest one. Or drive to Texas. It's going to take a whole day and a half. So no place in the Arizona, no place in the Nevada, not even Oregon or Washington. I don't even think South Dakota, North Dakota, Oklahoma. I don't even think of those places either. But they got those kind of places back east. In fact, there's a lot of places back east. Sometimes they have one here on the West Coast, but then they disappear. So I actually did look up to see if they just might have had one here with the location finder. They said no such deal. None in the San Gabriel Valley, none in Los Angeles, none, none whatsoever. But they sound appetizing, to say the least. Could they give a run for the money? Well, according to Cracker Barrel, of the 28 that is company owned, well, let me backtrack a little bit. In 2012, some people wanted, better food choices, blah, blah, blah. They wanted something simpler and better. And there's a Gus Evans and a Scott Moore. They're the ones who formed it in 2012. They had been expanding to in 2016, 2017 to Jacksonville, and then in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I believe. So it was an upstart company doing pretty well. But evidently something happened financially, I guess. I'm going to say foot traffic because I read as much as I could. It's a lot of reading. I read as much as I could, and Cracker Barrel bought them in 2019 for $36 million. That's right. Cracker Barrel bought Maple Street Biscuit Company for $36 million. Now, there's only 28 of them. But now there's only going to be a few because Cracker Barrel is closing. They say, let me read this right. I believe 14. They're going to close 14 Maple Street Biscuit Companies. I guess by the end of this year and next. That's all I got that they was closing. They didn't get no more information, only about that they was not doing good in the fiscal quarter. I forget which one, fourth quarter, third quarter. I don't think it really matters. But usually you buy out franchises because either they're doing good or they're doing bad, and you think that you can do something for them to make them prosper like you. And even though they're going through problems, they still do have the money. They still do have the money to take care of the Maple Street Biscuit Company as well as themselves. So they're going to close 14 Maple Street Biscuit companies. And what they serve there is biscuits, sandwiches, sides, and beverages. That means coffee. I didn't get all into that other type stuff. But if they're closing 14 locations, then we know that there's something going on financially. As usual, foot traffic, because it's not a fast food place. It's a legitimate, I believe, restaurant. Well, you can have fast food and be legitimate, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Hopefully you do. I'm putting my own spin on it anyway. Spin is positive in that we know what's happening here. Restaurants are still losing money, and they could be the greatest restaurant ever. But if they don't have the right backing, or if people are not really taking hold of it, that it's not going to be successful. And sometimes they grow too fast, but then 2012 to 2019 is not really fast, is it? I don't know. We know that even some small places like coffee houses do grow fast, and we know who they are. We do know that some of them grow pretty fast. Some of them had a strong foothold up north. Some have a strong foothold coming out of Texas. Some come out north. And there are still other coffee companies and restaurants back east that probably could expand and want. So Cracker Barrel is going through its problem with both restaurants. And I thought I'd do a live instead of putting it on regular video. At least I know it'll get through. I think that'll be all for now, because I still got the rest of the day. I'll see you in a few again with something new. This is Romney Shaw telling you all about the restaurant business. Am I expanding myself? Am I being happy because I look at something realistically for what it is? Maybe, maybe not. But here I am, and I'll talk to you later. See you in my next video. Cracker Barrel, Maple Street Biscuit Company. Restaurant problems, franchise problems, only in the USA, United States of America. Hey, we even got some places that are from other countries that are here too that are doing very well. I'm not going to mention them here though. Maybe in the next video or two. Talk to you later. Have a great one. I did have my coffee.